This is Crack Files, The Emotional Evidence, a series about what really happens when a life breaks. I'm Shanti Panda, reporting from a tea house that exists in every timeline you almost chose. In each episode, we open a crack file. Burnout, heartbreak, collapse, the wrong life lived for too long. We listen to the people inside those fractures, and then we step into the Tesseract Teahouse to see what the crack looked like from the other side. Today's case, the path that was never yours, and the moment your body finally refuses to walk it.
I remember the exact moment it happened. It was 7:42 a.m. on a Tuesday. I was at my desk, at home, cup of coffee, laptop open like any other day. I opened my calendar, saw 11 back-to-back meetings, and my body just refused. My right hand wouldn't touch the trackpad. At first I thought, okay, maybe this is a panic attack. Maybe I'm sick. But the thought that actually landed, very clear, was, if I keep doing this, I'm going to disappear. And the messed up part is, I never wanted this in the first place. That was the crack.
From the outside, nothing dramatic happened. No screaming, no broken glass, no ambulance. Just a man in his mid-30s, staring at a glowing rectangle, realizing, I walked 10 years down a hallway I never chose. That's our crack. Case file 001, Burnout, Decision Paralysis, and the Wrong Path. Up here in the Tesseract Teahouse, I watch cracks like that all day. People call it burnout, or I'm just tired, or I think I'm stuck. Down there, it looks like a quiet crisis at a standing desk. Up here, I see a bowl. Your life, as you've been living it, hitting the table for the first time. Today we're going to follow one life. We'll call them Alex. Alex did everything right, according to someone else's checklist. Good kid, good grades, respectable degree, respectable job. On paper, solid. On the inside, slowly disappearing. Then, one Tuesday morning, the bowl hit the table, and the story he was in stopped being sustainable. We'll listen as Alex walks us through the hallway he never really chose. We'll bring in a healer of systems to explain what's happening inside that kind of burnout. We'll glance at the patterns with a dancer with data, and then I'll invite you into a small ritual, so you can open your own crack file, if this feels a little too close.
The running joke in my family was, Alex is the responsible one. I was the kid who finished group projects. I was the teenager who got everyone to the airport on time. My parents loved telling that story. Teachers loved me. Managers loved me. So you lean into it, right? Honors classes. The good university. Business degree, because everyone said it was flexible. I don't remember sitting down and thinking, what do I want? I remember adults looking relieved when I made the sensible choice.
Notice that. No obvious villain, no mastermind. Just a hallway lined with relieved faces.
When it came time to choose my first job, I did what everyone around me did. Consulting. Good salary. Impressive logo. My dad's friend said, you'll never worry about money. My friend said, man, you're set. I remember signing the offer and thinking, I guess this is what people do, more than this is what I want. And every time I thought, do I actually like this? Some new promotion or bonus showed up and drowned the question out. Burnout didn't hit me like a car crash. It was more like someone kept turning the dimmer switch down every year. At 28, I told myself I was just tired. At 30, I started waking up already exhausted. By 33, My weekends were just recovery and numbing. I stopped playing guitar, stopped drawing. I used to cook. Then I was just ordering takeout and eating in front of my laptop. My life shrank down to screens and slides and ping me if you need anything. The decision paralysis started when I realized I can't do this until retirement. But every alternative felt like failure. I would pull up job listings, couldn't apply. Think about changing fields, couldn't move. People would say, "You're so smart, you could do anything." And my brain would just stall. It was like standing in a hallway with 100 doors and every handle was electrified. So I did nothing. I got very good at doing nothing, very busily.
Alex's bowl is still technically intact here. Hairline lines everywhere. But from the outside? High performer. Crushing it. Team player. The story looks solid until you listen underneath.
That Tuesday morning, my body got there before my mind. I opened my laptop and my chest felt hollow and buzzing. My hand went to the trackpad and just stopped. My heart wasn't racing. It was more like something in me had quietly unplugged itself. I saw my calendar. 11 calls, urgent slide decks, back to back to back. And I heard this sentence very calmly. I don't want any of this life. I never did. Right after that, another sentence. It's too late to change it. That's when the panic hit, because suddenly I could see two awful options. Keep walking this path and slowly disappear, or blow up my entire life and be the idiot who threw away a perfectly good career. I just sat there, hand on the trackpad, frozen. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I just stopped. The crack is not just too much work. It's the moment your nervous system refuses to keep walking a path your soul never chose. That's the fracture we're looking at.
To understand what happened to Alex, I asked a healer of systems to join us. A guild member who studies what happens between people, inside families, in organizations.
Burnout is almost never just about workload. It's about a long-term conflict between the role you're playing and the person you actually are. People like Alex learn very early that being organized, responsible, and low maintenance gets them love, safety, approval. So they build a life that maximizes those traits. The problem is, at no point does anyone ask, "What do you enjoy? What makes you feel alive? What do you want if nobody's watching?" By the time Alex is in his 30s, that question isn't just unanswered. It feels dangerous.
And the paralysis? The hand that won't move?
Decision paralysis is what happens when every option you can see is framed by fear and obligation. If Alex leaves, he's ungrateful, irresponsible, wasting his potential. If he stays, he abandons himself. Those are the only two stories his system has. So the nervous system does the smartest thing it can. It refuses to choose. It looks like weakness, but it's actually a last-ditch integrity move. It's the body saying, "We are not going to walk this hallway one more step. Not like this." By the time we get to that Tuesday morning, Alex's body is the only honest part of his life. His mind is still negotiating. His LinkedIn is still polished. But his body has already dropped the bowl.
So the crack isn't failure. It's a line of truth running through a lie that was very efficiently maintained. I also asked a dancer with data, one of our pattern readers, to look at cases like Alex's. What do you see when you zoom out?
When we look at people in high achievement tracks, consulting, finance, law, tech, we see very consistent patterns before a wrong path crack. First, their emotional range flattens. They stop reporting joy, excitement, curiosity. The most common words become busy, tired, and fine. Second, their world narrows. Hobbies, friendships, body movement, creativity, these shrink. Screen time, email time, and I'll just finish this one thing, expand. Third, we see a growing gap between what they're good at and what they care about. They become extremely competent at things that don't feel meaningful. The bigger that gap gets, the more likely we are to see the kind of paralysis Alex described.
So Alex isn't a rare case.
No, he's statistically normal. That's the scary part. The wrong path crack is not a rare personal defect. It's a predictable outcome of a culture that trains people to optimize for security and admiration instead of aliveness. In old grid terms, the system is designed to keep pushing you forward as long as you can still walk. The crack is the moment some part of you refuses to continue cooperating.
If any part of Alex's story makes your stomach clench or your throat tighten, I want to try something with you. You don't have to do this right now, but listen once so your body knows the path. If it's safe where you are, let your shoulders soften a little. Unclench your jaw. Exhale once, slowly, through your mouth. You don't need to fix anything. You don't need to decide anything. I'm going to ask you a delicate question. Where in your life are you walking a path that was never really yours? It might be your job. It might be a relationship. It might be a version of yourself you perform because it makes other people comfortable. You don't have to blow it up tomorrow. You don't have to announce anything on social media. You don't even have to admit it to anyone else yet. Just name it. Maybe only in your mind. Maybe as a code name in a journal. I walked down the path of because it felt like the only option, but if I'm honest, it was never mine. Notice what your body does as you say that. Maybe there's a lump in your throat. Maybe your eyes sting a little. Maybe you feel nothing, just a kind of heavy, quiet recognition. All of that is valid. From my vantage point in the tea house, that moment, the moment you stop gaslighting yourself about whether this path is yours, that's when the first hairline crack turns gold at the edges. Let's come back to the tea house for a moment. Alex is sitting at a low table. His bowl is in pieces, hovering gently in the air around him. On one shard, he stays. He hardens his persona. He doubles down on being the reliable one, numbs out in his free time. And 10 years from now, he's a very competent ghost. On a second shard, he panics. He quits in fury, burns every bridge, swings to the opposite extreme. He tells himself the story that he threw his life away and carries that guilt into whatever comes next. But there's a third shard I want you to see. On this shard, Alex takes a breath and admits, very quietly, "This was never my path. I don't know what my path is yet, but I am willing to find out." He doesn't quit tomorrow. He doesn't magically know his purpose. He just stops telling himself that he loves what he clearly doesn't. From up here, that's the moment the crack stops being random damage and starts being a doorway. Walking the wrong path for years doesn't mean you're weak or stupid. It means you were extremely skilled at surviving in a story that was never designed for your soul. The crack, burnout, paralysis, "I can't do this anymore," is the first honest line of a new chapter. You don't have to change everything overnight. You don't have to know the right path yet. Today, the investigation only asks, can you stop insisting that this hallway is fine if it isn't. If you want to go a little further with this, here are 2 questions you can carry into a journal, a voice note, or a conversation with someone you trust. 1. Where am I walking a path that was never really mine? 2. What do I believe I would lose if I stepped off it? You don't need perfect answers. You just need honest ones. And if you feel cold, you can send in a short voice note or message, finishing this sentence. I realized this was never my path when... We may weave some of your words into future crack files, so the next person staring at their Tuesday calendar doesn't feel so alone. Next time, we'll investigate the forces that keep you walking someone else's hallway. The systems, scripts, and shame economies that profit when you stay burned out and decision paralyzed. For now, if all you do is whisper, "This was never my path," and let one breath or one tear or one long silence answer, that's enough. From shards we weave, from fractures we fork. From each small, honest admission, a new universe begins. Breathe, Weaver. The cusp is listening.